welcome back. First of all, I need to make an apology for the video that I shot yesterday. I'm not used to working with a camera other than my phone, and so I noticed that when I was trying to demonstrate stuff, the camera was just all over the place, and I thought, man, that's just not going to work. So we're going to set up on a tripod. Of course, I might go back and forth to show it off, but hopefully I can edit all that out. And hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm going to put this at the front of the video series. For those of you just coming in, you'll understand what I'm talking about when you view the first probably 10 or 15 minutes. It's kind of a little bad, but it still gets the point across, and you can at least hear me talking about what we're doing. So let me get it set up, and we'll get back into what we're doing, and that is making a round table, and we start off with our square board. All right, well, we're back, and while you were gone, or while it was shut down at least, I did all the screwing of the pocket holes. Hopefully you can see this, but each one I've gone down and screwed my holes in. Now remember, what we're making is a round table, but we've got to start off with a square piece in order to do that. So our first step that we're going to take at this point is to get all the boards lined up. If you remember, we talked about marking them, and thank God we did, because by the time I got done, I had number 5 over here, number 1 over here. Marking your boards is extremely important so you can put them back into the location that you want them very easily and very rapidly. So that I can't stress that enough. So what I've done basically is I tried to line up one edge. I want to get it as smooth as possible. And the reason for that is I'm going to have some kind of reference point in order to figure out the exact center of this. And of course, since we got enough to play with, it doesn't have to be exact, but we want to be as close as possible. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stand each board up on edge, and that first board probably blocks everything else out. But I'm going to stand them on edge, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply glue to each of these edges. We're not going to worry about the last board over here, because this board here is going to get the glue. And what we're going to do is we're going to run a bead of glue down each edge, and we're going to take our finger and we're going to smooth it out, so we've got a nice contact point between each board. All right? All right. Now, the glue that I prefer is the Titebond 3. I'm not getting paid by them, which was. I guess it's gallons of this stuff, but this seems to work the best, to give me the best bond that I want. It's also a little bit thin, so that you can smooth it on really well. So let me just demonstrate what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a bead all the way down. I know it's going to go out of frame here. That's okay. I'm going to take my finger, and hold my board, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to smooth it out. Now, they make rollers for this. You don't want to get your hands or get your fingers into the glue. I just prefer to do it this way. It's not as bad as it looks. That way I can smooth it out and get me a good bond. So I'm going to go down and do each of the boards. I'm going to do 5 boards like that, and then we'll come back here and show you the big neck. Alright, so I've got glue on each of the edges. Obviously, one thing you want to keep around is a wet rag. Keep the glue off your fingers and to clean up your bottle when you get done. Otherwise, you're going to have a real mess. Now, I don't claim to be a professional by any means, but I have sold probably a little over 100 of these tables, not necessarily round ones, but farmhouse and kitchen islands and stuff like that. But I'm welcome any kind of suggestions that would make things easier. You know, I do this because I enjoy doing it, and I'm always wanting to learn and to make things easier. The number one thing in all of this is that we are making this for a customer, so quality is our number one goal. All right, we're not going to rush through anything, and we're not going to cut any corners by doing it. So, as you can see, I've got boards lined up. You notice we got a funnel in there. We talked about that earlier. There's also a smaller one in here too. But what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to start from one edge. Remember, I got one board down here that I don't have any glue on because I don't need it glue. I've got glue on this edge. But when I put them together, I know you can't see this part of it, but you'll see it on the end. I'm going to slide them together. You're going to have some glue oozes out. That's all right. And the reason I'm sliding them together, obviously, is to get that glue to make a great joint. Alright? Now, what I'm going to wind up doing on this last board, because of the space, I'm going to pull everything back just a little bit to go get this last board in there. Here again, don't worry about glue oozing out. We're going to clean that up. Now, if you're not into messy or whatever, this is probably not the kind of thing that you want to do. But, you know, it's just like, to me, it's like working in the garden or something. You know, people want to wear gloves and protect their hands, you know, personally, I like to feel the dirt. And getting splinters and all that kind of stuff from this, that's just part of it. And it's going to happen. So, just keep that in mind. But being able to fill the wood and work with it is what you want. So, I've got all the boards together now. Well, at least I've got them laid together. And what I'm going to do is step out of here just a bit. As with any woodworking clamp, or what you got to have, and through experience, what I have found the best way to go, and the cheapest. Now, you can't see, but I've got clamps of all sizes. Even have some that are 25 feet long in case I need them. But by far, to me, and here's an personal opinion only, but the best and the cheapest way to go is to go to your local store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Marvin's, whatever you happen to have, buy a clamp kit. They're about 15, maybe 20 bucks at that, and then various lengths of steel pipe. And what happens is now you've got several sets of different lengths of pipe, and these things are so easy to put together. All you do is slide that on. That doesn't come off. You take the end that tightens up, do the exact same thing. It will only go so far because it's not open on that end. And now we can adjust this clamp to whatever size that we need. Okay? So this is the part that moves back and forth to give us the different lengths. In this case, our table is almost 6 feet across, so it was 65 inches or so. So we've got to use bigger clamps, and so that's why I say, this way, I'm not going out and spending a fortune. That's the
that was shitty.
You're going to have some for different things, but these are by far the best investment that you can make. And so, and all it does is you have a little spring action here. You can tighten it up, push it together. So now that it's tight on one end, one thing that we've got to watch for in this first part, I want to get it as close to the edge as I can, because this is where we're going to start. But I don't want to cover up any of my screw holes. And if they're in various locations, I just kind of got to work with it for just a little bit. And right on top of one there. So that's about right. So, all you you do is you crank the lever, and that starts the process of tightening it down. Backwards. You've got to be able to stop is the thing, that part's down. So that can't go backwards. Alright, now we get it. So now, not over tightening. Big mistake, over tightening. And we're going to actually move the tire just a little bit. And just say, that's the one thing about at least this style of clamp is the crank has to be in an open area. Alright? Has to be in an open area so that you can actually turn it. Now, what we want to do is we want to alternate a clamp so that I know this is going to sound strange, but believe me, it's true. So that the pressure is coming from two different locations. I might slide down just a little bit more. So just a little bit of time to get it all worked out. You want your clamps as straight as possible so you're doing even pressure. Alright. So even pressure, not too much pressure. I still want to be able to work with it. So this is what we're going to do. I know you can't see, maybe right here, right down the board sticking up right there. So we're going to work on that. So my main goal right now is to get this first part even and level. Now, remember that the more work that you can do right now, the better off you're going to be. And let me stop the camera for just a second. Alright, sorry about that. I got clods going all over the house, so my fingers are scattered in different places. We want a little bit bigger camera. The man size on it. It doesn't matter if you're one or not. Alright, what I'm doing is, to the best of my ability, is to get these even. At least on this end. I'm not worried about down there right now. And as we do, we'll crank up the pressure just a little bit. But we want to do it evenly. Now, one of the things that's going to happen is, as you pull it together, as you do your clamp, tendency to pull up like this on the edges. And we definitely don't want that, because then we're going to have a bowed table. And then we're going to really have problems. Now remember, this is the bottom side, so don't worry about hitting it and all that kind of stuff. What's happening on the bottom side? Well, I'm actually on the top, so I'm going to make it even different. Alright, so I pull that together, I pull that to the part here. So I'm going to work on that as we go down. Everything else is lining up good. What I want to do, or be able to do, is at least get this area right here screwed together so that I can then start pulling it down, or even getting on top of it and moving my clamps down. So, what we have is the industrial size box of pocket screws. It's cheaper than going out and buying them in the box for $50. Now, this is one thing that's important. I know this is going to be really exciting while you're sitting here doing this. So I'll try to keep you entertained. We want to go ahead and seal all of our holes